I'm Leslie Combemal, Cinema Siren, guiding film lovers through a sea of celluloid. Today, we have an exclusive Cinema Siren interview with Legendary Pictures Godzilla director Gareth Edwards. Check it out. You are the director of Godzilla.
That thing.
Which is really exciting because you actually got Toho to let you guys do it.
Yeah, I mean Toho own all the rights obviously to Godzilla, and they were partners on the film. They had like approval over the design of Godzilla, and we shared the screenplay and everything and all the different parts of the process. And they came to visit the set and things like that. So
and they're distributing in Japan.
Yeah.
So they gave the thumbs up all the way through, and then at the end they were excited?
Yeah, the president of the studio came to the world premiere, and I mean Japanese are always very polite people anyway, but he seemed very, very happy, so I was really excited about that. Because I mean, to be honest with you, like you go around the world, you know, obviously this film's coming out everywhere. You want it to be a success, but if I was going to pick one country where you go, oh yeah, it'd be great if they embraced it, you know, it's going to be Japan. So,
if they say okay, then it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if they're willing to accept it as their own, as one of their movies.
It's like trying to make wine for the French or something. You kind of, you know, you're on the home turf.
When you were doing Monsters, which was a much smaller budget, you were doing a bunch of different things at once. You did cinematography and special effects, and you directed, and you were doing all of these. You had all these hats at once. So in this movie, obviously, you had somebody that you could involve who was a specialist in each one of them. How did you find it to be different, and how difficult was it to select and kind of work with the people from the perspective of only one voice?
Yeah, all those hats that you're talking about, basically you just give them to other people, and you still worry about cinematography, and you worry about design and animation and sound and music, and it's kind of your job. You're still doing all those kind of things, but you've got these amazingly talented geniuses that you're kind of channeling your ideas through. And in terms of like finding people to work with, like firstly obviously you're looking for people who share a similar taste, because you know sometimes they're going to be going and doing things, you're not going to be able to affect everything, so you want them to have the same, or at least understand your sensibilities and your taste. And I'd say the second thing that's really, really important that I think can get overlooked maybe, or is important to me, is that they're really nice people.
Huge. I think it's a huge thing.
Because like
you get to work together.
Yeah, for 2 years you're like in a war zone for 2 years together, and any little, you know, personality traits or little issues, they really boil to the surface fast. And
because there's trouble, and we have to work through it and all of that in terms of being on set and working through problems and issues and stuff.
Exactly. And I'm not like I'm not a shouter, or I'm very sort of like quiet British kind of reserved thing going on, and so I needed people that were kind of had that similar kind of laid back, everything's going to be okay sort of attitude, and they weren't like that, because you don't want someone who's got this dominating personality, otherwise it can affect everything. And I was very lucky, everybody was, we did vet everybody first, but we were told that they were all amazing, and like Seamus, the DOP, who,
right,
he is the nicest.
And he has atonement, yeah?
Yeah, like you won't meet a nicer guy than him. He's kind of the kindest, sweetest guy in the world, and you kind of wonder, like, how did you get into this position? Someone's so nice.
Well, in England, nice people do get ahead.
I guess so. I don't know.
It seems like, I mean, especially in the behind the scenes and directing and all of the special units and stuff. But I love his work, and I love what he brought to the movie, because I think it's not just, of course, in this movie you've brought a lot more pathos and characters and all of that to it, but the visuals, the way that the photography, the cinematography is, and the, I mean, everything, the sound, it's all really, it comes together really beautifully. There are several scenes I just think are reason enough for people to see the movie just for those scenes, because they're visually beautiful. Okay. I love the one where the guys are, you know, jump out. And can you talk a little bit about doing that scene?
So that scene was,
doesn't even have a monster in it. Well, eventually it does, but
I know, it was kind of like there was some lines in the screenplay, I think, I can't even remember now, but it was basically they jump out of a plane and they fall towards San Francisco, and it's kind of like It's sort of the what do you call it? When you cross over a border or something, it's like the gateway.
To the rest of the story.
Yeah, and so stylistically and sort of subconsciously, I wanted it to feel like they're kind of angels falling into hell, and
there's the red light,
yeah,
the stream, which I guess they always use, but I just thought it was beautiful.
We just made that up, and
you did?
But I was paranoid because the idea is that in our film, I won't go into too much detail, but there's a reason to have the flares on, in that they want to be able to keep, know where each other landed. And that was our excuse, really, because it looked good. And then
so good.
I got to meet the Secretary of the Navy because we have Department of Defense cooperation on the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of talking about this moment, and I was like, yeah, it's a little bit far-fetched, but it just looks good. And he went, hang on a minute, and he got out his phone and he showed me this clip, and it was him jumping out of a plane with some special forces guys, and they all had the streamers as well. And he said it's quite common practice, and so I was like, okay, cool.
Yay!
So
but the red was a choice.
Yeah, because it's like, I wanted to do those like really wide shots,
mm-hmm.
and you would never see them because they're small figures. But if you have those streams of trails, it's just like they're falling, like it's just kind of, they're falling into hell basically.
What I loved about it, though, visually, even as it was moving, was it had the quality of a Japanese painting, or was very painterly looking visually and the black and red, which is Godzilla colors anyway. So I loved that about it too.
Yeah, there's a storm going on. It's got that supercell kind of formation. I did a lot of, when I used to do computer graphics before, I did a lot of those Discovery Channel shows about the perfect storms and and tornadoes and things, and so I remember these supercells. They just look so epic, especially when you're in a plane looking down, and the idea of like free falling through them. It's kind of in IMAX. It's one of my favourite moments in the movie, probably.
Yeah, I love the IMAX. Actually, I think it's essential, and I also love that the roar was used is from the original.
Yeah.
That it's just like mixed together things. So were all the people that you hired your first choices in terms of the back end of the movie? Because I know the front end were, but the behind the scenes.
For sure. Like Eric, who did all the sound, did Godzilla's Roar, he had previously done Transformers, so it's like, okay, blockbuster covered. But he also did Tree of Life for Terrence Malick. So
wow.
It's like,
God,
it's
so
like
beautiful.
Soulful, beautiful, artistic thing covered. So he's got such a range. And he created the sounds of Godzilla. Like, we tried, the original is the leather glove scraping down the strings of a double bass, like,
mm-hmm.
and we bought a double bass, leather glove, and we couldn't repeat it. And so he found these new scientific microphones where they record at like ultra high frequencies, so that a tiny little squeak of a chair or something, when played back, is like this scream of like an epic animal. And so he went round and recorded hundreds of these different, like, obscure, pointless little sounds, but when you play them back, like, all slowed down, like, they've got these, like, amazing, brand new, you can't really place them, it doesn't sound like anything, that you've heard before, and so a lot of the creature sounds in the movie are based on that technology.
What do you think you got, when you watched the finished movie, what do you think you got right the best? What do you think was the thing that just thrilled you about the finished product?
I don't know. I think hopefully the right way, tried to show some restraint. Like, tried to not. There's a temptation with these films to throw everything at the screen all the time, constantly, and after a while you just get like numb. Mm-hmm. And I was worried. I was more scared about that happening than not showing enough, sort of thing. And the film sort of builds and builds and builds and builds, and hopefully can always top what it just did. And the idea being that when it finally like climaxes and there's the peak, and then it's the end credits straight after. And so, I don't know. It's for other people to say. Like, there's all these things you throw at a movie and you try and do. So
I'm talking not for others, for you. When you saw it, you went, "Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful." Was there a moment where you just went, that right there, I got that"?
There's a few moments. There's when you first see Godzilla. There's like the halo jump that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. There's some stuff on a bridge.
That's beautiful. That was my third. thing.
There's even some character stuff. There's some stuff, emotional moments that I think people don't associate with Godzilla. That I'm very pleased that some of it's hopefully a little bit moving to people.
Oh, very.
So it's hard. It's like being a parent. It's like trying to pick your favorite child. I guess it varies from day to day. Like today, it's the Trestle Bridge.
That was beautiful.
Tomorrow it'll be
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian's. Well, I loved the movie. I thought it was, it does capture a bunch of emotions, and it has qualities that you never have seen in a Godzilla movie before, and then it still has all what big fans of Godzilla would want to see. So I think it's something people should definitely check out. It's beautiful, really big, so people have to see it in a movie theater. I think that's one of the best qualities of a monster movie. So good luck to you. I think it's going to be great, and appreciate you spending time with us. And you guys, go see this movie because it's really, oh my goodness. The end of the movie is worth the rest of the movie, but the rest of the movie is great too. So you really have to see it. And thank you so much for spending a little bit of time talking about it. And I hope you make a really lot of money on it. and you keep making great big movies.
I wish all interviews were like this.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, yeah. Well, it's just a great, obviously it worked.
Oh yeah, it worked for me. But I like good acting, and I like beautiful visuals, and I know what I'm looking at when I see it on the screen. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
I give this movie 3 out of 5 stars. It is worth seeing. The weaknesses are around the script and the character development, but Bryan Cranston has an amazing and riveting performance, and there is a scene with Godzilla in a battle that, oh my goodness, absolutely fascinating and really beautiful. See this movie. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Godzilla fan. Go monsters! Go Godzilla! Arrgh.